Good morning, my fine feathered friends. Oh, I didn't get much selfie stick. But that much selfie stick. All right, so exhibit A. All right, so I'm down here. Okay, today's the day, guys. I got the green light. I'm gonna put my monies over here so we don't lose it. It's supposed to work today, but I'll show you what happened. Exhibit A. It's been raining all night and the sky looks like that. And I'm not gonna see my new garage. See, I told you there's a garage. I parked one of my bikes in here. I'm not gonna bike all that way just to get rained on. And exhibit B, I got boxes. Exhibit C, hang on, I'm gonna do the wide angle for you guys. There, that's the wider angle. Exhibit C, I got green light to get rid of all this stuff today. I asked my sister-in-law this morning. I said, "What's going?" I said, "What's going? What's staying?" Because like I can't wait any longer. You know, I've got like music production to do. But it has been raining all night, so exhibit. What are we at? C or D? We'll say we're at exhibit D. Exhibit D. I found a light bulb in the place. I got a light bulb. Exhibit E. It rained again last night. So that's my main source of leakage right there. I've got a lot of questions to address for you guys. So what I'm probably going to do, you can see it seeping right through the wall right there, right? But I'll leave the door open. I mean, until I get down here to clean this. I got to clean upstairs first, and then I'm going to clean down here. That ever worked well with the second light in here? I think there's only 2 lights in here. That's all I ever remember in here was 2 lights. But all this stuff is going to like get piled up somewhere. But I want things away from the wall so I can work with it. But what I'm thinking is before we get to the main question of the day, and the question was, why don't I want to cover the floors in this house with like linoleum or carpet? Particularly carpet was the question. And that was such an excellent question that I'm going to actually dedicate a good proportion of the video to answering that. But I got lots to do today. Hello, my pretties. Yeah, how's this doing? It's drying out. Yeah, there's just condensation under there, so not too bad. Not too bad. I'll be able to deal with it. I'm going to kind of seal up the bathtub thing a bit today. I don't know how much work I'll get done today because I am going to do a little bit of work. I was supposed to work 2 other jobs today. 3 other jobs, and then 3 jobs turn into 4 jobs. But I might only get 2 jobs done. But the one job is a short job, but it might also be a hospital trip, and that job is basically taking the huge wasp nest and spraying it, or not, at the church for the Sunday Mass or the annual Mass. I'm probably going to use my brush minotaur. Today I call him the brush minotaur. I'm probably going to use him today at that little trailer because I don't want to use my dad's riding mower there. Remember, there's a turtle shell in there. Remember the turtle shell I keep pointing out? Yeah, well, it's still there, and I don't think it'll do any damage to the lawnmower. But there's a whole bunch of sticks and branches that fell. The grass got, it's like 2.5 feet high there. I haven't cut it all season. She only asked me 2 days ago if I could do it. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I could do it. But I think it's going to be a whippersnippery day. So that'll take up probably at least 2 hours there. I'll get this open. Get that open. It's not bad in here, even with a leaky basement. So I cleaned out this shelf yesterday. All that stuff on the ground there. It's all mice poop and all kinds of stuff. So all that stuff's going to get thrown out. I don't see any dead mice. I got 3 traps loaded, but I don't have them baited. But I'm going to clear off the table. There's a couple of plants that they might leave. If they're dead, I'll just get rid of them. I told her that, if you can't, because we're running out of room up there too. So it's like, okay, if you can't get the plants up there, don't worry about it. I know she's coming back for the big one, but I want him out of my house because he attacked me. I know it's a stationary object, but he still attacked me. I didn't know how that happened, but I did get picked by that cactus. Stationary object. The big guy right there, he attacked me in my own home. I have the right to self-defense, Article 34 and 35 in the criminal code. Yep. Anyway, You just watch, see what happens. He's getting evicted. So yes, let's get to the. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get to the sort of the question of the day. And you know, like guys, I'm not like Mr. Home Builder, whatever, but I have built, you know, homes from the ground up. I've built, you know, I'll show you right. You can barely see it, but I'll stick this out the window so you can sort of see it. Yeah. Well, you can't see it until I take the tree down, but that big garage over there, my freaking heat's on. Why is the baseboard heater on? The baseboard heater's on. Yeah, it's on. Why the hell is that on? It's not that cold in here. That's off. Oh, unless it's controlled by another one. You never know how these things are controlled, eh? Make sure this one's off. Okay, that one's off. Okay, so that one's probably... Okay, so you probably have... I bet you... Why is my baseboard here? Maybe that's why my brother was so hot in here. But I didn't notice it on the other day. Not on. Why is the one baseboard heater on? Huh. That is weird. It wasn't on the other day. I know it's a little bit cooler. And it's right by the window, but maybe. That is kind of crazy. Maybe some of them like those two might be linked. The one behind there might be linked on a separate circuit. So I got to figure that out. That is the craziest thing ever. And this one's for the furnace. It's down. Aha! All right. Interesting. But anyway, yeah. Okay, so let's look at this floor. Okay, so you got dog hair all over the floor, which is hopefully gonna get most of that cleaned up today. We'll see how much I get done. I don't know what kind of weekend I'm gonna have, if I'm gonna be working all weekend or whatever. Okay, that's all the junk that came out of this room and this room. That also includes the closet shelf, which I'm starting to slowly pack things into. Got my old my AC/DC shirt from when I was a teenager. That's a keepsake. Nobody wears that. My guitar cases, carry gig bags are up there. Got some guitars. Got to play some of those today. Okay, so this room is the walls are swept down for round one anyway. This room, the walls are swept down. Look at that beautiful drum kit. The floor, the linoleum is ripped out of the floor. And that has seepage from the bathtub, which, you know, that there's the cold coming in from the wall back there. Let's take a quick, well, the ground's too wet. I don't want to get my boots wet yet. But anyway, these two holes underneath are going to get temporary covered today until I can get the proper supplies to cover that up. And that should take care of the leakage on the floor. Now, okay, this plywood floor is older than me, right? So the really old plywood is this here. That's like super old plywood. Like look how dark that is. Well, yeah, I found my grandmother's cow keychain, so I put it up there. I still got to sweep out all here. The clothes bags I'm going to start taking out of the closet. I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty musty. I just want to get things cleaned up and put aside, right? So I got the cupboards cleaned out. Okay, now I got to deal with all this mess that they left me. So, but I've got a green light to get rid of it all. So it's like it will be done. Okay, so Exhibit A. You got a floor like this. You got an old house, and you have a seeping basement. Okay, which there's a couple of ways I'm gonna address the basement. So you can see the water on the floor down there. That's been almost dry for the days that it wasn't raining, but as soon as it rains, and oh, the sun's out for 5 seconds again. Ah, how nice. Oh, there's that big cat. Sort of a wildcat. You should see the size of that sucker. He's huge. Hey, buddy. Ain't gonna be feeding you, but holy crap, I'm gonna give you a lot of mice. He is huge. Like, that is probably the biggest tomcat I've ever seen in my life. It's been around. He's probably like 2 or 3 years old now. Yeah. But you could mistake him for like the size. He's bigger than a fox. I bet you he could kill a fox. That's how big he is. Anyway, I don't know if you could really see him over there by the barns, but he's prowling around. I saw him the other day jetting around there. Just to address the funny comment I got, that the basement window over there that I got open. Yeah, if an otter did get in there, yeah, I don't know how I'd get him out, because it's not like you can just grab those things by the scruff of the neck and toss them out, right? Like yeah, they tend to bite the crap out of you. Got my clock. Gotta clean my clock. So, dirty. I got a battery for it today, so. But anyway, yeah, so you got all that stuff there. I'll switch this around to me. Trying to multitask here, make videos for you guys while I'm cleaning up the place. Okay, so the floor is porous, right? I think everybody knows what that means. It means it's going to take on moisture, right? Okay, so every time you cover like something like linoleum or tiles or whatever, if you put tiles down, rechargeable batteries need a new recharge. It's still good, but I brought another battery just in case. That way I don't have to carry my clock back and forth. Okay, so you've got a situation where you got a porous floor, and then you've got basically floor tiles, linoleum, whatever, rug. The rug, okay, the rug will, it won't act as a vapor barrier like the other ones will, but it's very porous, right? It absorbs. It's like a sponge, right? You get a sponging effect. And that sponging effect, that sounds like a lot of must and mold. And there was a carpet in here at one point. There's a red carpet that was, I can't remember if it was on this side or that side, but anyway. But this floor, for the most of it, this house, has either been plywood or like that linoleum stuff, or tiles, stuff like that. But that stuff, like I say, it has the ability to trap There we go. I gotta wash my clock here. It's really dirty. But it has the ability to trap moisture and stuff in, which is exactly what I don't want to do. So hence nothing on the floors until I sort out the basement moisture problem, because yeah, it might still come up through the floor a bit, but it can wick away with the, if there's air or the baseboard heaters are on or whatever, it'll wick away, right? So therefore, you won't get rot, you won't get mold, you won't get, you got to let that escape, right? So I can't put that up there yet. I have to. I want to put the clock up there. There's my broom. I need my broom. So that's the main reason why I'm not covering the floors, and I want to keep everything away from the walls. Not until you dry out the place satisfactory and seal off or deal with or know of where all the spider webs and stuff coming off. I don't think the walls have been cleaned for a while. It's one of those things you got to do. At least once a month, probably. Maybe once every 2 months. And all that stuff adds up too, like for your breathing and stuff like that. Like the spider webs hold dust, right? So you want to clean all that stuff off. So anyway, just gonna get this up here. Oh wait, actually, one last thing. What actual time is it? What actual freaking time is it? And it's an awful lot of work just to get a clock on the wall, eh? Okay, so yeah, so that's the main reason why I'm not going to cover the floors. Is I want to see, how much is taken, how much moisture is being taken on in the place, and I also want to see, you know, how well I can air it out, because there's another problem that I have, and that is the dog, right? So we're not sure what's going to happen with the dog. Like my brother doesn't really have the time to take care of it, and my sister-in-law and nephew don't really take care of it. Like they take care of the dog to a degree, right? But they don't take care of it. Take care of it. You know what I mean? And there's no life for a dog stuck in the house most of the time, especially a husky. A husky needs to be out running. The problem is because the dog, as soon as you let her off the let her out, she'll run, right? Because that's what she wants. She's got all this pent up energy. She has to run. So a dog like that, you have to let them run, 100 times a day, kind of thing, right? They're like a Dalmatian or a Greyhound, run like that. Like they're a really high strung dog. So you either tie them up all the time, which is not really nice for them. They're like, she's well taken care of. Like she's fed, she's petted and stuff like that. Like she's not abused, but it's just the what she needs is like an open farm where she can run for like, just all day, and it's just run and run and run and run and run. And then that's the only way you burn the energy off those dogs. If not, they're kind of a high strung dog. And they're kind of a vocal dog. I mean, they make the weirdest sounds, but she's a beautiful dog. I can't have her down here just because I wouldn't be able to leave her by herself. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be very nice. Like with Lacey, like Dad and I she didn't even have a collar, right? I mean, the only time we ever put her on a leash was when we take her to the vet. That's it. And she didn't like that at all. Oh no, she was she had choice, disapproval stares that she would give you. Miss Lacey, she was such a good dog. She was grumpy, but she was a nice dog though. Like she was a good dog. But anyway, and she had part husky in her too. But for her, she could come and go as she pleased, right? Because that's how we raised her, and she was fixed, so she never rambled, right? Yes, it's mainly male dogs that'll ramble, but female dogs, if they're not fixed, they will ramble too. And unfortunately, she's not fixed, right? And she's at that age where it's kind of too dangerous to, to get them fixed. I mean, you can, but like when they get older, it's more dangerous to fix them. Better to do it right, when it's optimal to do it when they're, just a little bit past the puppy stage. So the dog has contributed more to the smells down here than probably the two dogs. Just one dog, had to be put down there because he was pretty sick. He had cancer and all that. There, poor guy. He was a nice dog too, but like the two dogs were just too much to deal with, right? Hence, my brother would leave for work. They'd be stuck in the house pretty much all the time. My sister-in-law let them out, put on the leash, on the tether line, throughout the day to go to the bathroom, but it's still, they're spending 90% of their time inside. And that's not good for a dog. If you have a dog that is a high-strung dog, it requires a lot of maintenance. So I'll just say that. Like, it means, like again, it's a well-treated dog, but like Lacey was maintenance free practically, other than, sharing your supper with her. Like that was pretty much like window open, in, out at her own leisure. She'd be outside most of the day, just sitting on the deck or on the front yard or whatever. Run around whenever she'd want to run around, whatever. She never really left the yard. That's the kind of dog we need. But that said, with 5 people in the house, I think once that dog is, if like we find a good home for it, I think once that dog's gone, that's it. I mean, we still have Missy the cat, who looks she's called Miss Hideous right now because we had to shave all the, my dad took her up to the vet to get all the hairballs shaved off, so she just has like fur on her face and fur on her tail, and she looks so hideous, and she's shivering all the time, the poor little thing, on that. So, but I'm kind of laughing at her because of all the but she's such an old cat, and she, obviously no problem to take care of. Now, as far as these big tomcats and stuff, there's 2 cats around here. There's one they call Meow Meow. I haven't seen that one. And that big guy there, he lives outside. You know, my aunt feeds him, whatever, and then my aunt and uncle over there, they have a couple of cats. I don't think they go. I think one might go outside. He goes like 5 feet, sticks his nose up at the place, and then comes back in, right? But the reason why I bring up the dogs is because, again, you can see all the white stuff you see on the ground is dog hair, right? And it's just that a husky's shed like you would like Sucky. He shedded a bit, but he had short hair, so it was manageable. With husky, with her, especially in the hot months, like you could brush that dog 10 times a day, and you would get a dog's worth of hair out of that dog. It's like unbelievable, right? You could shave the dog, and it's just, you know, like every time hair falls out, the mattedness comes out more, and it's just constant, right? So it's a high maintenance dog in that sense. But the thing is about with the hair is what gets into this, you know, gets into the furniture. You know, that couch that was there. Since I've taken that out, you know, the place has improved in smell, but until I get rid of all this stuff and clean out the fridge and clean out all the clothes and do Operation Pine Sol and, you know, wash my walls. I gotta vinegar the walls, particularly in the basement, just to neutralize some of the mold that would be in there. There's really not a lot of mold in this place. It's more like mustiness. Like there's a moldiness to it, but it's not like okay, every wall's, you know, oh my god, a tear down project. No, there's only 3 places. Even behind the sink there, it's dry. So I think that was from water damage from a way while back, right? And then these 2 spots here, well, like every bathtub in the world, even in a brand new house, is going to have condensation under it, even if there's no leaks there. But that one is obviously leaking, but I know where it's leaking from. So that's just like a seepage. So it's dry to the touch on the surface. It's dark stain. So I'll have to, you know, basically, and with the symbol shadow over it, it kind of makes it look worse. But yeah, there, like, I mean, it's dry. So that'll probably be a big frost line on the wall in the wintertime, and that's where that's coming from. And that you can deal with, you know, it's not really rotted, it's just condensated. So rot is one thing, condensation is, I'm not saying there's no rot spots in this house. Every house will have it, but it's really not bad. You know, it's not bad. The worst is just getting this old stuff out to air the place out, and then once it's properly aired out, that's when, you know, and swept down and all that. That's when it, you know, it's probably going to take me about 6-8 months to get those smells out of the house. Like that dog smell, like it's kind of like if somebody dies in a house, you know what I mean, and they've been in there for too long. It's almost impossible to get that smell out of the walls and stuff. Like it just takes it on, right? But it does fade over time. So I figure 6-8 months will probably, you know, people will come in, they won't smell it at all. And I don't want to just be one of those people that just mask the smell. You know, okay, yeah, Febreze is great, but it's also not healthy for you to be breathing those chemicals. The best is to actually just, you know, try to neutralize it. Vinegar is one of the probably the coolest substances on the planet, because okay, it's not really good to eat a lot of vinegar because it hardens your arteries, right? You know, you eat too many pickles and stuff like that, it thins out your blood. But it can also good for like most stain removers. They say not to use Javex on mold because it creates a gas that's actually quite poisonous there's a reaction. But use vinegar, so they say, it kills the mold. You know, salt and vinegar usually kill everything, right? You know, but you don't want to be throwing salt on your walls because you'll rot your walls, right? But vinegar, you can just do a light, you know, water and vinegar solution, and then just, you know, wipe it off after, you know, like let it sit for a little bit, wipe it off after. And like I say, once I deal with the basement, I think more of the basement dealings are going to be an outside venture than an inside venture. Like it's just basically to figure out where the water's running from off the hill and then diverting it. Cause that, like, I mean, that basement is always leaked. You know, forever. But I think one of the things is that it's just the way you take care of it. Like, for example, in the wintertime when all the snow's built up on the side of the house here, I'll switch the camera around. Okay. So it's going to be built up in here, okay? One of the solutions that I'm going to try is just shoveling the snow back from the wall. So first off, get rid of all those briars. I got to do around too, but shoveling the snow back from the wall about 20 feet, I think might make a huge difference. I don't know if I'm going to get to whippersnip all this today. I got to find that wire in there. There's a little wire in here. I saw it earlier, but I didn't mark it where it was. And I might have, you know, because I don't know if it's still alive or not, right? Like, I got to figure all that stuff out, like, you know, what's live, what's not. Deal with the water down there. I think what I might try for first, the cheapest solution is to try to channel the water to a. I've seen other people use that as a solution. So you don't stop the water, but until you could stop the water competently from the other side, which is the best. Mainly don't let it come into the house in the first place. That's kind of what I want to do, but I still don't have the hydro in my name. We tried calling last night, but couldn't get through. So try again tonight, see what happens. The sooner I do that, the better. The other thing is I got to clean up the fridge big time. Some stuff in there is not looking too good. Yeah, so as soon as I get the hydro in my name, the hydro's paid up until October here. So what I want to do is basically get the hydro in my name, and have that done and over with. And then from there, the internet, well, I'll hold out until I know what my living expenses are going to be down here. Because remember, I live here and there, right? So, my living expenses have went up quite a bit. So, and it's at the time of the year when things start to die down. And that's kind of scary for me because I don't have enough saved ahead. Like if I was just up there, I'd be good for the winter. But like basically, I'm not saying my expenses have doubled, but they're probably going to be close to double. So the thing that I got to do is sort all that out. Priority is to get myself through the winter. I may have to tap into my vehicle fund for that. I don't want to do that, but if I have to, I have to. And if I have to do that, the big thing from the takeaway from that is it's going to be a very tough spring for me. Meaning, if I get lucky like last year and I have, I got a couple of good jobs in January and February that kind of really helped out and got me ahead to the point where I'm debt free now. But now I've taken on this as it's a financial burden. Right? It's not, but the payoff is I got a place. I got a house out for very, very cheap for rent. Right? So I don't own the place. I'm gonna have to stay here for a while. I haven't slept here yet. I probably could have slept here the past couple of nights, but I'm gonna wait probably about 3 weeks. Like not until I get it. Like there's no point staying down here and moving everything in when the easiest time to clean it up is when it's empty. Right? So I'm gonna do that for myself. As far as all these tables and stuff like that, right? All that except with the exception of the one dresser, which the reason why I got it airing out, the last one on the end there beside the ladder. I got it airing out, and those are the shelves for it. But all this other stuff is gonna go, and there's a few other little furniture like that stand there. I just don't see myself keeping that at all. And I know my friend, she'll probably take it for her antique shop, and she does furniture and stuff like that. So anyway, the goal is to get all this cleaned up today. Hence, see how far I get with the boxes. Anything like jars or stuff, anything I can end up in the, recycling, I'll put aside. But I just want to get it out of the house. You know what I mean? Because it's the stuff that stinks the most. But the main smell in here is not must and mold. It's the dog. But mind you, these windows have probably been the most they've been open. For the longest duration is probably in the last past 10 years is probably me being in here because I've noticed a big difference. Tomorrow will be 1 week since I came down here, and when I came down here, the place was closed up for about 3 or 4 days, and I know that window was open for maybe about the last past 2 weeks, just because the air conditioner broke down, which was in that window, the kitchen window, that one there. So other than that, the doors and the windows closed almost all the time, right? And like I say, that's not good. You're a place like this out. An old place like this, it's the ventilation isn't, like, it's not modern. So like a modern house, you have vents that are automated and stuff like that, and you don't have to worry about it. Like, okay, well, whenever the humidity gets too high, a thermostat kicks on the recirculatory fans, and that goes on all floors, and takes the fresh air from outside and exhausts the crappy stuff inside and stuff like that, and it keeps it moving. Old houses like this, you got to do it the old-fashioned way: open windows and open doors and what have you. Open the loft. Opening the loft, that's something I know that hasn't been done in probably 10 years. Well, I can't remember when my dad and my brother put new insulation up there. And what I'm probably going to do is, because I was thinking, go ahead, buy the insulation and start redoing the insulation. But I'm like, I could do that during the winter time too. Like, I don't know what it's going to be like in here temperature wise, other than the few times that I've come down here. My dad and I come down here to visit or whatever, and it in the middle of the winter, and it's just, how high do I have to crank the heat to keep it cozy in here? Now, for me, room temperature and wearing a sweater is fine. I don't need to be in shorts in the middle of January. I can, wool socks or whatever, stay cozy that way. It's just, it needs to be warm enough that my biggest fear is that it's warm enough that it doesn't, it doesn't get so cold that it affects my instruments, or that it's so cold that my water pipe freezes, right? So that's the only thing. So I may have to run an electric heater downstairs for maybe a couple of weeks in January or whatever. Just might have to do that. That will spike the hydro for sure, but if it keeps things from freezing, like nights below -30 or whatever, that might be what's required. So that's kind of where I'm at. So today's going to be a weird day. I got to go do a little bit of a job. I'm going to go to the store, do that job, and then I'm going to come back, work here for a bit, and then I can finish up the rest of the day over at the trailer there. I don't have to go far. And the other place, well, I think I'll just hold off till either tomorrow, if it's drier out, because I got a bike out there, and it's like the sun, like, if it like it stays out for about 10 seconds, that there's a lot of moisture in the air there, so I'm sure we're going to probably get rain sometime today. I would like to continue on outside with the brush cutter. My goal is to have the grass cut by this weekend. I don't know if I will meet that goal, but as long as I can have it whippersnipper completely cleanly around the house, and then I can show you the where the water's running, where it's running to, right? And I think one of the solutions might be just digging out the basin of the back wall over there, and just tar the wall, put in a tar the wall, or put in a what do you call it, fascia plate there. It's just like you see it when you put it under a door. It's basically just like an aluminum strip. I'll have to price it out. You just put it there, and basically they call it a kicker plate. What happens is, because water always tends to build up right at your door, and it rots the floor joists right under the door, right? So you put that there, and the water never gets through, because usually your deck is up tight against, wherever your deck is tight against, you have to have that kicker plate. and it follows underneath your door and stuff like that. So I could either put that on there, but tar the wall for sure. Get some crushed gravel. The idea is to get the stuff to divert the water around the house as much as possible, and put in some weeping tile, which I have a little bit of that tubing. So I'm like, okay, that could. It's just how low do I have to put it to make sure that it's effective, right? Normally you put it down about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, whatever, and that's usually enough. But the water could be coming in much lower. So I want to get where the vein of the water is, where the water table is, and drain from there. So even if I have to put two of them in there, one at the very bottom, let it go out to maybe a dry well or something, just out maybe 20 feet that way or whatever, and then put another one in the normal spot. If that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do. But if that stops the basement from really leaking, then it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? It's just, because again, you could throw $1 million at a place like this. You're not going to build a new house out of this. You know what I mean? Like you're going to maintain it to livable standards, and that'll be about it. Anything more than that is just, as a guy who's done renovations and stuff, I've seen people buy cottages in this kind of condition, and then they jack up the cottage and they put in a new basement and they do this, and what they paid, they probably could have knocked it down and just built a better place. You know what I mean? Now, if I ever buy the place, the nostalgia of this being my grandmother and grandfather's house, the nostalgia of it, I don't know if I'd ever want to knock it down, but on the other hand, on this property, this is where you put the house, right? But that's only if I would ever buy the property, and I'd have to get it for such a steal. Like like it would be. My relatives would have to take pity on me. It's if not, I rent it till the day I die, which is fine, but. I'm not going to invest a lot of money into it if like when I first moved up here in 2008, my goal was to build my own house, but because I'm a single guy, it's kind of like, it's not a waste of money, but it's, you know what I mean? Like it's something that you'd only do it if you had a family and stuff. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it that way, right? Considering the cost, and I'm 52 years old, so I don't want to take if they wanted like 100,000 or more for the place, it'd be like, okay, yeah, no, I rent till I die. But if it was really, really cheap, by cheap I mean, under 100,000, well under 100,000, just because I'm 52, right? And to get a bank loan and have to pay that for the next 25, 30 years, it means I can never retire. Where renting it cheaply and maintaining it, maybe I can retire in 5 years or something like that, or semi-retire, But I'm pretty sure I'm on the work till you die program, especially the way the economy is. We won't get into that right now, but it's bad everywhere, guys. It doesn't matter what country you're in, so it's all bad. But this is opportunity for me. I'm going to get to work because I got about 20 minutes before the store opens and to go get my provisions for the day. And then on my way back, I'm going to stop and deal with that wasp or hornet's nest. And hopefully I don't have to go to the hospital because I got stung to death. But yeah, that's the way it's going to be. Yeah. All right. Anyway, there we go. But yeah, that's the whole thing about the floor, is that it's just, you have to let the floor breathe, because carpets, you want to stink out your house, get carpets, right? Like carpets only last maybe 10, 15 years. Before they, you almost can't get the smell out of them, right? The carpets in the house up there are like, 40 years old. So, you know what I mean? We've already ripped out a lot of the carpet because the carpets do contribute to, especially people that have breathing problems, asthma, stuff like that. CPOD, all that, or CDOP, or whatever you call it. Yeah, so wood, it airs out, it ventilates. Linoleum and tiles and stuff like that basically create a vapor barrier, and you get, like, it doesn't allow the floor to release the smell. And then yeah, just the open floor, at least it will take on the smell, but it will also air out. It wicks away, right? So ventilation is the best way to go. It doesn't look as good. Some people paint the floors. Paint the floors the same as putting linoleum on it or whatever. It can no longer breathe unless you get a type of paint that'll breathe. But that type of paint probably so fragile you'll have, painted floors look horrible when they start to wear down. You know what I mean? So for me, I like, I'm not really worried about stuff like that. Click flooring, it's the same thing. It creates a vapor barrier. So until I solve the basement issue, there's nothing going to go on the floors, because that would just be, well, it's a reason why, it's one of the reasons why there's issues with this place, right? Is, again, lack of ventilation, and things just can't evaporate. So I have to deal with that no matter what first, and then from there, go from there. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna go get some stuff done, and and I'll update you as I go. But take a last. Hopefully, this junk is going to be all gone by the end of the day, and hopefully by the end of the evening, I have the hydro in my name. Just a matter of getting through to them. That'll be good. And then if I'm not working tomorrow, it'll be, well, I'll be working tomorrow regardless. If it's nice out. If it's not nice out, well, then I'll be down here. But if it's nice out, I could be working with my buddy Paul. And if I'm not working with my buddy Paul, I will be working at the other place in the morning. And then I'll be out here for the rest of the day. And yes, if you're wondering what happened, did I get caught in the rain on my bike the other day? Yes, I did. Yeah. Just as the camera shut off there, it started to rain. I didn't get too badly soaked, but I got wet. Yeah, I got wet for sure. But yeah. So anyway, I got to get to it. There we go.